The king of high-ticket sales. World's highest paid consultant. Media celebrity. Multi-millionaire entrepreneur. Acclaimed TEDx speaker. International best-selling author. Dan Lok.
Dan Lok, the man who calls himself the Asian Dragon. According to his website, YouTube channel, and adoring mentees, this 39-year-old business mogul is an unstoppable force. He is praised for his top-notch business strategies. He's also the author of several books specializing in business self-help and motivation, and he has given talks at countless events. He claims that he was a millionaire by the time he was 27, and he did this by implementing business strategies he learned in his young adulthood. And now he's on a mission to educate aspiring entrepreneurs in the art of business for a small fee. I mean, this dude is great, right? He has his life together, he has all the money and resources he needs for himself and his family, and now he's selflessly training the future generation of business movers and shakers. It almost sounds too good to be true. Yeah, that's because it probably is too good to be true. Before we get any further ahead, it's important that we discuss Dan's backstory. The story of his childhood is something he seldom leaves out of any of his talks. Dan was born in Hong Kong. At a young age, he immigrated to Canada with just his mother, and shortly after their move, his mother and father actually divorced. Dan often speaks on the difficulties he faced moving to Canada without speaking any English and how he had trouble in school as a result. According to Dan, a defining moment for him was when his father called from Hong Kong to tell them that he had gone bankrupt.
One day when I came home from school, my mom would stay in the bedroom, but she was talking on the phone with somebody. And then after the phone call, she opened up the door and I could see she was crying. I said, "Mom, is everything okay?" And she's like, "Well, I was talking on the phone with the dad, and he just told me he went bankrupt. Just filed for bankruptcy. He couldn't send us money anymore." My mom is always a very positive, it's just like an angel to me. But that's the first time in my entire life that I looked at my mom now in a country where she doesn't speak the language, son doesn't kind of going through high school. Her face, the hopelessness. I said, I don't care what effort it takes, I never want to see that again.
Dan says that his father's bankruptcy gave him the motivation he needed to start numerous businesses as a teenager, including a lawn mowing business. He says he wanted more than anything to provide for his mother and future family. In his early 20s, he apparently sought out the advice of a well-respected millionaire that lived in his hometown of Vancouver. He wanted the millionaire to tell him all the secrets of success and wealth. The millionaire said he would teach Dan and to meet him at a gym where they would have their first lesson. Dan arrived at the gym dressed in a full business suit, ready to learn and take notes. When the millionaire saw that Dan had showed up, he invited him into a boxing ring where Dan says the millionaire proceeded to punch Dan in the face repeatedly.
Without warning, the millionaire, boom, punched a young man in the face.
He supposedly did this to teach Dan the importance of persistence and rising up after failures. Okay, so this older gentleman with millions of dollars decided to teach a random kid he had just met about business by beating him up. And he wasn't afraid of a lawsuit? Okay. After this encounter, Dan says he found several other successful individuals that became his personal mentors, one of whom taught him the art of copywriting. Dan says that he eventually started a one-man advertising agency, which made him a six-figure income. From there, Dan claims that he continued on into what he vaguely calls internet marketing, which he says made him a millionaire by the time he was 27. Fast forward to present day, and Dan has numerous training courses for aspiring entrepreneurs. And he has a YouTube channel that has almost 3 million subscribers where he covers various business topics. It seems like his life has been a true rags to riches story. Or is it possible that this rags to riches narrative has been purposely crafted by Dan and retold at his various speaking engagements to draw unsuspecting individuals into his training courses? I watched a lot of Dan's YouTube videos while I was researching for this video. And let me tell you, I am acutely aware of events that supposedly happened in Dan's childhood because he is constantly talking about it. On the other hand, I really had to scour the internet to find any information on how Dan actually made his money. Usually when Dan mentions how he became a millionaire, he is very vague and quickly brushes over the topic, and instead focuses more on describing events in his childhood.
I started and failed at 13 businesses before having my first success. 13 businesses. Most people would have given up on the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one. Became a millionaire by the age of 27, multimillionaire by the age of 30s. Who would have thought that a poor immigrant boy could accomplish all this?
I was able to find an interview he did on another YouTube channel where he went a little more in depth as to how he amassed his fortune.
So from there, making good money, with $10,000 a month. And you could say it's a little bit luck or timing, but internet was still at its infancy.
Right.
We're talking about the Netscape time or the modem dial-up time. I mean, I think a lot of people watching, young people, they don't even know what that is.
Right, right.
So I was taking some of that money, I was buying Bruce Lee collectibles, because I'm a Bruce Lee fan, from Hong Kong, and flipping them on eBay. And that's how I kind of got into the whole internet business.
Online world.
Online world. And we are talking, I was selling stuff on bulletin board, right? And was selling, like, I wrote my first book, I was selling it on there.
So you had the copywriting experience, the online experience, and now it starts to sort of
because at the time,
mesh together.
no one, copy is still just communication, right? It's salesmanship in print. And at the time, online people, they don't quite understand how the whole work. We write copy, ads, and it's just working, right? And I went into eBay. I was making money. I was making money through ClickBank. I had multiple best-selling products on ClickBank, like digital products. I was doing affiliate marketing. I'm telling you, I was making, as a young guy, a ridiculous amount of money. I've never seen so much money in my life, right?
So he took some of the money he made from copywriting and invested it into online businesses like selling Bruce Lee collectibles, which apparently made him a millionaire. Well, I have no choice but to take Dan's word on how he amassed his first million. But it is apparent that what officially put Dan on the map wasn't selling things online. It was when he found the world of the online business guru. For the last couple years, Dan has been selling training courses where he promises to reveal so-called business success secrets to whoever purchases his courses. His most popular course is a 7-week program called High Ticket Closers, or HTC. You would think that a successful business mogul who claims he is retired and just wants to help out young, aspiring entrepreneurs would sell his course for pretty cheap. Or maybe for free, because after all, his website says he's a philanthropist. But no, his course is $2,500. I mean, my 9-week courses I took in a master's program at a pretty good school weren't even that expensive. And it doesn't stop there. He has a course called Storytelling Secrets that's $10,000. He also has a 12-week high-ticket influencers course that is also $10,000. And he sells a book called The Closer's Black Book that you can purchase for a measly $1,500. But don't worry. The book is on sale for $995, so it's really a steal. I mean, can you imagine spending almost $1,000 on a book? And I've seen some pictures of the inside of this book, and it literally has reflection pages where the reader is supposed to write down their own thoughts. Some of his followers argue that while his training courses are expensive, he offers a lot of free training on his YouTube channel. While this might be technically true, those free training videos are about as in-depth as an inspirational quote you'll find captured under a 13-year-old's Instagram picture from their trip to Cancun. Most of his videos are filled with simple platitudes or general business advice that you could probably just Google for yourself. Worst of all, a lot of his videos end with a pitch for one of his training courses. His videos are literally just sales funnels to his outrageously priced training. Many who have been conned in to Dan's HTC course say that it lacks anything substantial, especially for the price. Instead of teaching you practical business skills, HTC is more like 7 weeks of motivational mumbo-jumbo, where Dan attempts to emotionally manipulate his trainees by repeating rags to riches stories, selling them an unachievable dream lifestyle, and giving them a false sense of hope. Sounds a whole lot like the tactics used by another business scam that I'm a critic of. That's multi-level marketing. Which is funny because Dan has made several videos distancing himself from MLMs, even though he uses the exact same scammy tactics.
I'm not going to use my brand and my influence to promote some network marketing company, period, right? I'm leaving millions on the table, millions of dollars of speaking opportunities, engagements. I say no to all of them because that's not what I believe in.
In my opinion, Dan Lok is a contrepreneur. He's a fake business guru. He's great at crafting a compelling story that draws the viewer in. He focuses so much on telling stories from his childhood, whether they're true or not, because they're relatable. Many of us know what it's like to grow up poor. Many of us know what it's like to struggle. Someone who is in the middle of a struggle is more likely to trust someone who they view as both successful and relatable. The thing is, Dan Lok is a success. But his success doesn't stem from his ability to sell people products. His success stems from his ability to sell people on himself. He has this ability to convince people to trust him, whether or not he's actually done anything to earn their trust. And then he turns around and takes their money while telling them to view it as an investment into their future. Dan is so good at emotional manipulation that many of those who have left his HTC program claim that the program is actually a cult. Coffeezilla, who's an awesome YouTuber, and I've seriously been binge watching like all of his videos, actually interviewed several ex-HTC students who all said that Dan fits the profile of a typical cult leader.
Is Dan Lok a cult? Yes or no? Is High Ticket Closer a cult? Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
I'm gonna say yeah. And you know, shame on me. I had fights with my family members. They were telling me, dude, this sounds like some cult shit. And I'm like,
really?
No. You see, that's your lower mindset saying that, you know? And he's like, you call these people you don't know brothers and sisters. Yeah, because we're trying to be, you know, we're not living in the matrix like you. We're out of the matrix. We're in the real world. We know each other. We understand each other. And yeah, dude, it's a cult, but I don't even think Dan knows it's a cult. I think he's drinking so much of his own Kool-Aid that he thinks that he is really making a difference in the world. But he's building this empire on the bodies of, you know, innocent people who are throwing away their money.
And their jobs.
Like myself included.
So did you relate when Garrett said this was a cult? Were you like, oh yeah, #relatable?
That was, yeah, pretty #relatable.
When someone signs up for one of his courses, Dan requires them to refer to him as Sifu, which is Cantonese for master or teacher. Dan creates this mentee and mentor dynamic where the mentee is required to adhere to everything the mentor directs them to do. Dan then uses this dynamic to persuade his students to buy more and more of his courses by insisting that he, as the Sifu, knows what's best for them as the students. Many students involved in HTC attend this yearly event called Closers in Black. Closers in Black is a weekend conference where all the students come together to listen to Dan and other quote-unquote top closers give talks. If this sounds a whole lot like an MLM conference to you, it's because it basically is. They say you'll be able to learn more by going to the conference, but it's basically a weekend of motivational garbage where Dan attempts to upsell his students on his more expensive courses. Reportedly, one of Dan's star pupils took the stage at a Closers in Black event to ask new initiates the following question.
So Kayvon at one point asked everybody to stand up. He said, I want you to imagine that you're standing on the edge of the cliff. Sifu appears over your shoulder. And he says, I want you to jump. How many of you would jump?
This should definitely set off the cult alarm in everyone's head. This is a classic cult tactic where the leader requires full control over the behavior and thoughts of their followers. Dan also teaches that everyone has something called their lower and higher mindset. The lower mindset is underachieving, doubtful, and fearful. The higher mindset is successful, strong, and focused. If one of his students fails to close or make sales, Dan claims it's because they're using their lower mindset. Dan basically sets it up so that it's not possible for his training courses not to work, and all the blame is put on the students if they fail. Dan also has these mantras that he requires all of his students to listen to and repeat multiple times a day. He also directs his students to block or remove anyone on their social media who is critical of Dan in his training courses. Honestly, it appears as though Dan Lok and his courses meet many of the criteria listed in the BITE model. The BITE model is a tool developed by a cult psychologist to determine whether or not a group or organization is a destructive cult. Dan and his lackeys use thought-stopping cliches, mute dissenters, control their followers' access to information, definitely exploit people financially, and use many other cult tactics listed in the BITE model. So personally, I think the likelihood that Dan Lok is a cult is pretty high. What's really sad is so many fall victim to the predatory tactics used by Dan Lok and other entrepreneurs. They end up losing thousands of dollars and wasting months or even years of their lives chasing after this dream life Dan has built up in their head. But the truth is, Dan himself doesn't even have this dream life he promises his students. Recently, it was reported in the Vancouver Sun that Dan is being sued by his landlord for failing to pay rent on his 16,000 square foot mansion. Catching him in a complete lie, Dan had previously insinuated that he had full-on bought the home for $35 million. But he actually never bought the home. He had only rented it and he couldn't even pay rent. This is what Dan Lok and other entrepreneurs do. They pretend to be rich, powerful, and successful when they really aren't so much. So as a warning to my viewers, if you ever stumble across someone on YouTube claiming to be an entrepreneur that's on this mission to teach others how to be rich, run away as fast as you can. Dan Lok and others like him are dragons, and they will burn through everything you have to give. Thanks so much for watching. I do want to be sure to shout out Coffeezilla because the interviews he conducted with the Ex-HTC students was a great resource and I used it a lot to write this video. A link to Coffee's videos covering Dan Lok will be in the description and I highly suggest you guys take a peek at them because they are super entertaining. Also, some of you may know, but I recently launched my Patreon. If anyone is interested in helping me bring awareness to scams and predatory business models by supporting this channel financially, a link to that will also be in the description. As always, if you like this video, please make sure to subscribe, ring the bell, check out my Patreon, follow me on Twitter at the Antibot, and I'll see you on the next one. Say bye!